have lots of phrases that involve two words, the second of which is day. Labor Day, Memorial Day, George Washington's birthday, Independence Day, birthday, and Election Day. And they're all particular days. So if we start with that, if I have nothing more to look at than the phrase Election Day, I think this is the day in which everything is going to take place, or almost everything. And then we have 3 points in time, 1844, 1872, 1914. And we can ask, what would people have thought on those days is meant by this phrase, Election Day? Which of those should we choose? Which of those dates should we choose?
Well, I think you could choose any of the three. I mean, honestly, I think the single best one, if you're just going to choose one, is 1872. And the reason I say that is because 1914 is the latest in time, but that's the one that Congress gave the least thought to.
All right. I thought that was appropriate. And I love the way I say birthday.
Yeah.
Election day. It's such a sad state that we're in that a Supreme Court justice has to literally talk about the difference between a day and another period of time.
Well, the Gorsuch audio is very revealing too. That one I've heard. The Gorsuch one that came out today about the drop dead date for the mail-in ballots to come in, and how Mississippi, the guy representing the state of Mississippi, didn't know his own statutes in the state of Mississippi. And Gorsuch said, "Let me read them to you, sir." And he made a complete schmuck out of this guy from Mississippi. It was really embarrassing, who just kept mumbling and humbling and hobbita. Basically, what Gorsuch was saying is, when you mail, it says in the statute, you have to turn your ballot into an election official. So Gorsuch says, is the United States Post Office an election official? He goes, no, but we mail stuff all the time. He goes, that's not what I'm asking you. He says, is Federal Express a government official, election government official? He goes, well, not exactly. And he starts making a schmuck out of the guy for one reason. And he says, and he creates this hypothetical election. And he says, these mail-in ballots come in, the leading candidate is found to be involved in a sex scandal or involved with a foreign power, and the opponent calls for people to recall their ballots who voted for him. And people begin to recall their ballots, Eric, by simply calling Federal Express and getting them returned. And this guy had never thought of this in a million years. And he just kept saying, please answer my hypothetical, sir. And he couldn't do it, Eric. And he kept digging himself a deeper and deeper cave to fall into. It was fascinating what Gorsuch did to this guy, simply but with this hypothetical of how the day concept has to be that day, turning it in to an election official.
Yeah, no, it's very encouraging to see. I think they've sent signals which way they're going to vote on that one.
Yeah, even that judge, what's his name, the little miniature Napoleon judge said, Napolitano, said it looks like they're leaning that way. And they probably can't cover early voting because Roberts usually makes them frame these things so narrowly based on Roberts's previous things. Napolitano said that there probably won't be any relief about early voting, but late voting will be over with.
I'll take what I can get.
No, I know. That may have to be a separate case with the early voting, though.
Yeah, I don't love the early voting, but at least the early voting is done by election freaking day. So if you can,
right, but the concept would be the same. I think you vote early. You now have a change of heart. You call up FedEx and say, I want my vote back. Now, it might just be you, or it might be 71,000 people who do that, affecting electoral progress and electoral voting. The judicial theory is the same as Gorsuch raised today, which he'll probably raise in the early voting case or even this case.
Yeah, Well,
If
I
you can
agree.
recall your vote by not giving it to an election official, that's the legal loophole that the Supreme Court is wrapping their arms around.
Which I never thought of, honestly.
Even did I. It's brilliant. I never thought of this in a million years. It's
Yeah.
genius.
The only concern that I would have, and if somebody was smarter going against it, they would say, well, what about the FPO in the military as an example, because they have to actually ship
Well,
it
I don't
with
know.
the
I don't
mail
know the
service.
answer to that. It could be that it's a government mailbag, government
Could
officials,
be.
government policy, government going to government.
Yeah.
FedEx is not government, and we've seen what the United States Postal Service has done with absentee ballots in the past, Eric. They are a union that is heavily democratic. I mean, you can't ignore that. They're a quasi government program at this point,
Oh, yeah. They
yeah.
lose bags in certain neighborhoods and make sure
Oh,
other neighborhoods
no,
get through,
right,
or
right. But I
boxes
think
disappear, and
by their strict constitutionality of sticking to the letter of the law of these states, they may strangle them in their own crib. Because if they're not turning it over to a government official, hence the loophole in their own argument.
right. And I don't know for sure. On the military, you brought up a good point, because in the military, because there are assigned duties, like, to the mail or whatever, they might actually be a sworn election officer in the military.
Yeah,
They
I
might
don't
have already
think they're
covered that.
eliminating traditional absentee ballotism by
Right.
these rulings. They haven't really addressed that at all.
Yeah.
I haven't heard all the tape, so I don't know, if they're dealing with that or not. But this post-election or things coming in and counted a month and a half or 2 months afterwards, as per California, has got to come to an end with this ruling.
Let's hope. Let's
Yeah.
hope. Step up, Supreme Court. Get it done before
Yeah, get
midterm.
it done now. And
Yeah.
Napolitano said, interestingly enough, and others said the same thing, if they're going to do it, you got to do it early to give these states time to rejigger their entire mega operations.
I agree now. I've got a bunch of, other stories, but something's breaking as we speak, and I can't really, ignore it. And apparently the talks are truly heating up with Iran right now to stop this thing. And Trump literally just announced,
Wow.
like moments ago, that Iran is agreeing no nukes as
They
a
had
major
no
concession.
no way out. They were really trapped like rats, weren't they, Eric?
They are. Well, and the thing is that the whole nuclear thing, we said, you know what? Okay, if you want to have civilian-based nuclear stuff, we will give it to you.
Yeah.
It'll be
yeah.
free. We'll literally take it and give it to you, for hospitals, you rent, that kind of stuff. And they're like, oh, no. So,
Well, we've seen videos of Iranian officials claiming they lied about all that stuff. I mean, from their own mouths.
Sure.
We've seen videos now saying we lied to develop a nuclear bomb. I mean, I don't know what else to say. They've been caught lying so many times that Trump had to take action. This will put a dent into the neo-fascist podcasters' endless war, boots on the ground themes, Eric.
I
And
don't know.
I use the word neo-fascist. This was a week after I talked about fascism last week on the Republican extreme MAGA right niche, whatever that is over there, Buchanan wing of the party. Mark Levin came on full bore and calling them, it was a phrase I've never heard before, neo-fascist podcasters. And I went, I'll roll with that, because I was grasping for it last week of what phrase to use. And he came up with neo-fascist podcasters.
You know what? We can also go with James Lindsay and say, hey, update the woke right and say neo-fascist, which is a cleaner one that people can understand. So
I feel cleaner with that phrase. I like that phrase.
And I told him directly when I interviewed James Lindsay, I said, why don't you just say fascist?
I know. Why not?
Because
what did he say to that?
He said that part of the reason is because the way they react.
It's a loaded weapon word, or
well, he said, but when he said woke right, they start screaming like their hair is on fire. He said, therefore, I know it's accurate. He said, when they start screaming, then the label's fitting.
Right, but I don't think it's appropriate to what we were describing last week. Of Buchananism going back even further to Lindbergh, of this embracement of fascism to fight communism. And it's a separate thing we were talking about last week. And I was surprised to hear Mark Levin call them neo-fascists.
That's true. And I guess part of my issue is that there are probably a handful that have a legitimate, or well, at least a political philosophy.
Yeah.
I still say half of them are grifters. And I don't know
Again,
if they actually believe in anything.
We can't
and
ever
that's what
prove
makes
that,
it really
though. We can
difficult.
only prove what their words say. We can't really get
No.
inside their financial minds. You're right. I don't disagree with you, but there's something that's not provable in terms of that mentality, but we can analyze their words at least.
Well, we can, but I can analyze their actions and what their audiences do. Like, I talk about audience capture a lot, right? And that's where an audience is expecting a certain thing, and a creator, instead of leading an audience or influencing an audience, the audience actually starts to turn them. And you could look at like Megyn Kelly, you could look at some of the others and go, oh, interesting, because their audience have certain expectations. And I could tell you firsthand, being on the other end of it, I think it would be fair to say we are not audience captured, as
No,
in we
not at
pissed
all.
them off so much.
No,
that it was
they've
a
left.
very
That's okay.
uncomfortable situation.
Right. So they should leave. This is the opposite of audience capture here, bro.
Yeah, we're not even partner captured. Mark and I argue with each other.
Right.
So it's
which is what it should be. I mean, unless you want to go on and, do things and call people names and all of this high school, cheerleading and all this backstabbing and gossiping. I'm not interested in that. My life's too short. I don't care about that shit. I care about the facts, or at least my interpretation and editorializing attempts at what I know, and that's it. If you're not into it, look, I'm not doing this for my health. These are my opinions, and if you like them, it's great. If you don't like them, I'm sure there's a million places you can go.
Well, and many people have gone. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I don't begrudge them. I don't even begrudge them.
It happens.
Right. I don't want to force my point of view on people.
One thing I'm wondering though is this whole scenario, and I talk about it on, in private conversations too, with people that don't agree with what's going on. But I keep saying, I just don't know. Can we let it play out? I mean, let's look at the history of all wars and what is the average length? Let's talk about how long a war takes place. And, we're 2 weeks in, we're 3 weeks in. It's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we done yet? And I'm like, can we just let it play out? Because I don't want to make a decisive comment right now, because I just don't know.
I have a similar decisiveness, because to me, I trust Trump's judgment in these matters. And people go, how can you trust him? I do. That's just my opinion. I trust what he's doing. I don't know all the facts. I don't want to know all the facts. I'm not a military intelligence analyst. I don't have top security clearance. I can't know all the facts. Can I trust this guy? Absolutely. Do I trust him? Yeah, on these matters. And if you don't, that's on you. That's you. Then you're going to drive yourself insane. I haven't been driving myself insane, because on this particular area of his presidency, on this issue, I tend to believe him. And I think that he's going to cut a deal. And I've said this on the show since this thing started, sooner rather than later.
And at a minimum, you voted for the guy, you support the guy, give him enough time.
They can't do it. It's
60 days, and it's in front of Congress, and we've got to deal with the budget. Then that's another conversation.
Right. Separate conversation. But on this, he is operating by himself, not by himself, but I mean, by himself, independently of other branches of government, and using the Pentagon and using military and using advisors. This is where he operates the best, when he's being able to be in charge of something, anything, without getting derailed. I know that he cares deeply about the troops. I know that he cares deeply about not putting boots on the ground. I know that he cares deeply about long-ass wars. I know that he's opposed to Iranians having the nuclear weapon. There's certain facts that I've known following him for 30 years. So I'm not surprised by what he's done. I've mentioned some other things in this episode on this theme, but for the most part, I believe that he would end this thing sooner rather than later.
Yeah. But again, it's not like it's almost a dual-edged sword. Venezuela may have spoiled people a much because they're like,
They're retarded.
I
They're
mean, look at
retarded.
it. That was
It's apples and oranges. You're right. It's apples and
a
oranges.
few hour operation,
It's
and everybody's like, "Oh, we're still there." Like
2 inches
really?
away with a fucking guy. They pulled out one guy. What are they going to do? Pull out hundreds of Muellers? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 007. You know, 008 Mueller replaces 007 Mueller over there, including the son Mueller. But there's got to be a Mueller where the musical chairs stop, and some Mueller says, "I'm willing to make a deal."
Well, and apparently they found said Mueller.
Yeah,
They've been talking to him, but there's a disagreement. Like I part of the problem too is that they've destroyed so much of the Iranian government. It appears that they can't even really communicate with each other enough to know who is talking, who's not talking, who's alive, who's not alive, or what's going on.
Hence the brilliance of the military action that's going on. You have to be threading a needle here. In the old days, you just bombed anything that moved, you killed anything that moved. These people are trying to leave them with their oil systems intact, leaving no civilian casualties of Iran, trying to take out the regime. I mean, think about how intricate that is. And yet you've got bloviating neo-fascist podcasters saying it's exactly the same as the Iraq war. Dude, if you continue to listen to people who have taken you down the wrong road repeatedly, it's on you. It's on you.
What I guess the part that I'm most interested in is, okay, and I don't know if it's going to end in a week or two. I don't know. There's progress. It may be done in a day or two, or it could be done in a month. I don't know yet.
Oh, he controls that.
Of course. I look forward though to when it's done. What are you going to say then? What are you going to talk about?
They'll say, like you told me one time. You once told me that, and I laughed, but you told me one time the same question about another area. They'll take credit for having influenced Trump.
Oh yeah, good.
You told me that.
Thank
Eric.
you. I forgot.
No, I'm not going to take credit for shit I didn't say, bro.
All right, okay.
You told me that, and I assume they'll do that again.
That's true. I've seen that actually happen. That happened
right.
last
You're
April.
The one who told me that, bro.
Or last June or whatever. When the bombing went, it was like, they took credit. Yeah, see, we held his feet to the fire, and so he stopped the bomb. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. It's been
I think it's laughable. I mean, I should say that I should add that it's a laughable situation that they seem to think that they're closer to power than they actually are. And that's a broad generic statement I just made. But in general, I think that's their Achilles heel.
Yes, and though I think in some cases they kind of are, and we're seeing that play out with the Joe Kent story. And I'm sorry.
That's the name of my new movie, The Joe Kent Story. What is going on with Joe Kent? I haven't been following this as closely as I should, but what's your take on this thing?
Okay, well, Joe Kent's story's got legs, it appears, much more than I even realized. And then, of course, good old Schellenberger's brought into the mix, which is like, okay, Schellenberger's there, boop, boop, interesting. But Joe Kent...
By the way, just so people know, Greg Kelly on Newsmax has been nightly delineating Joe Kent's biography that he published last year. It came out this year, and it's brand new. And he is shredding it every single night, taking page after page and analyzing it. And he has said in this book, and this is like Greg Kelly said last night again, this is not a book from 2002. This is a book from 2024. And it'll make your hair curl what this guy has written in this book about hunting humans and how he loves hunting down humans and killing them. And he's a killing machine. And he goes on and on about that. And then being poolside in Iraq in the green zone, drinking drinks and hitting on chicks. This is what we're all doing in our cargo shorts. That each of my tour of duty, 11 of them, some of them were only a couple of weeks. And I'd be back at the pool again. Dude, this is in his own words. So I advise people, if they're interested in the Joe Kent story, to tune in to Greg Kelly tonight and the past couple of nights and tomorrow, because he is shredding this guy's bio.
That is okay. Well, that's interesting here. Well,
I just wanted to tell you that.
Oh, no. But okay. So I thought that what Joe Kent did, the way he resigned, was just a betrayal. Okay. It was a shitty way.
Of course.
If you ever quit your job and you do that and you say the same day, you are trying to sabotage the organization,
Of course.
however you are.
Yeah.
I had no idea that Joe Kent, in the end, may bring down Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. I have a feeling because you remember that group text that was going on with Charlie Kirk, the group text, that got leaked, and they were like, who got the leak?
The group text of the assassin and his friend?
No, it was a group text with Charlie Kirk about the Israeli donors who were not going to fund because of Tucker Carlson. It happened 2 days before he was assassinated. He was on a group text. And he was just talking about he was under a lot of pressure because he kept inviting Tucker back, and a couple donors who happen to be Jewish or supporters of Israel were like, "Hey, we're not donating to Turning Point because you keep propping up Tucker Carlson and he keeps trashing us."
Rightfully so.
But they've been holding that, and Candace Owens has been holding that group text. She leaked it out for the whole public as proof that guess who was behind Charlie Kirk's death? What was she trying to imply? Okay.
That we're not going to donate money to anti-Semites. That's my takeaway.
Guess who Andrew Clovet, who was one of the group text people, the guy who leaked it, he gave it to at least one person.
Is it Andrew Clavin you're talking about?
No, Clovet or Covet.
There's a different guy.
It is a different guy. He works for Turning Point. Yeah.
Okay.
He gave it to Tucker Carlson. I'm sorry. He gave it to Joe Kent.
Okay.
And then Mitch, this is the funny part. Mitch, who is the source of Candace Owens, who claimed that Erica Kirk was at Fort Huachuca the day before the assassination, possibly planning it. Everybody mocked Mitch.
These are crazy people.
Okay, well, Mitch recently on a podcast, Colvett. Thank you, Pie Susan. Anyway, Mitch came out and said, "Oh yeah, it was Joe Kent. That the Joe Kent got it to Candace Owens. So Candace Owens' source, Joe Kent. There's other stuff coming in that Tucker Carlson's source, Joe Kent. So
okay, we kind of knew that he was a leaker, but let me ask you this: the story I saw today was that he wants to testify in the trial of the assassin
case for the defense.
Right, but I mean, in what capacity though? As his government capacity as his previous job, or I mean, what is he an expert on here?
Well, because he was the expert in anti-terrorism, and he's making the claim that they shut this down. But here, hold on, I've got the clip, and it was actually Schellenberger. That's why I said it's very funty that Schellenberger.
Oh, deep state versus deep state, Hunley.
Exactly.
Spy versus spy, like Mad Magazine.
Right. And that's why I had to say that, hey, no, it's Schellenberger. I will always qualify if there's anything to say.
You have to.
I mean, but here's a snippet from the interview.
Outside of himself, because I think the whole idea appears to be, or he's being prosecuted as just a lone shooter.
I personally have always found the lone shooter narrative to be challenging, but that's just my opinion. Again, my focus wasn't because Tyler Robinson is an American. Tyler was never exactly where we were looking. We were looking for links. And again, I fully investigating him for foreign links. I don't think that due diligence was done. Him and his associates is what I would say. I don't think that due diligence was done.
Okay. There's a longer clip where Schellenberger said, what about, the fact that his defense can call you. And Joe Kent said, yeah, I'm prepared for that. And if it has to be, it has to be. I just want the truth to come out or what have you.
Well, I believe that his defense will cut a deal and none of this will ever happen, separate from Joe Kent. Not to begrudge Joe Kent, but I think just as the overall case, separate from Joe Kent, I think the defense will cut some kind of a deal.
Yeah, I just find it very interesting. So this guy,
it's bizarre that he would be saying that. You're right.
But and happens to be feeding Candace Owens, who's the number one person essentially running interference for Tyler Robinson in the public eye. I mean, everybody but Tyler Robinson is guilty if you get with the Candace Owens structure.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that's going to come to an end. Part of the problem is these lengthy periods of time between these events and trials, allowing conspiratorial podcasting crazy crap to bubble to the surface. If these trials could, God forbid, happen within 10 years of the event, I think there'd be a lot less of this stuff, Eric.
That's true. But in this case, especially, it's going to have to take a while because you're talking about a capital case with a death penalty on the table. So that's always going to slow it down even more because of the, potential death penalty. And Utah will kill him potentially.
Right. I mean,
they're known
going
for
to kill him, and at the end of the day, it shouldn't take that long, simply because I think they've got him dead to rights. This is, you know what I mean, is just as a police case. They could conspire all they want and get clicks all they want or do their grifting thing all they want. But at the end of the day, the facts have to meet the rubber of the road. And I think there's enough information to convict him pretty quickly, especially with a Utah jury and, blah, blah, blah.
I haven't followed it in details, but it has been stated out there that if they throw out 90% of what they have on them, there's still enough to convict them.
Exactly. That's my opinion.
There's quite a lot.
Right. The thing that they are fighting over is this power vacuum left by him. So, of course, where is the Achilles heel? If you were going to write a script, a movie of the week or a TV movie, the Achilles heel would be the power vacuum and the conspiracy to kill him. Bring in the Jews, bring in the Israelis, bring in his wife, just expand it exponentially. Who cares? There's no consequences to these people for expanding this stuff exponentially, conspiratorially. And the longer the trial takes to get to fruition, the more time they have to for their crazy clickbait crap.
Yeah, the interesting thing, though, is circling back to Joe Kent.
Yeah.
In an official government capacity, he's potentially leaking this stuff. There can be more going on.
I agree.
In his future, he may be finding a new home himself. It's very, very serious.
I agree.
Possibility.
I think that part of the reason I was starting to dig down as to why there have been no arrests, no indictments, no convictions by the DOJ. And I realized that the guy running the day-to-day operations now while she's getting her nails done is Todd Blanche, who up until 8 months ago was a Democrat. I mean, we have essentially a Democratic, a lifetime Democrat, Todd Blanche, running the Department of Justice in a administration and Congress and Senate controlled by the Republican Party. He literally became a Republican, I think, 5 months ago, Eric. That, I think, carries a lot of weight as to why we've seen no indictments, no arrests, no grand jury subpoenas and everything else. It's the only thing I could think of.
Well, there's him and, the rest of the actual structure, the
right,
middle
right, which is there,
that,
right. But if you take a Democrat like Todd Blanche and put him right below Bondi, this spaced out blonde chick who's going to get her nails done all the time, he can run and suppress everything below him. And anytime he does a TV appearance, which he's starting to the past couple of weeks, there's been so much mumbling and habita coming out of his mouth that my own body language clock said, this guy's full of shit for some reason. I started digging into him, and it turns out that he literally switched parties 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, kind of like Joe Kent. Sorry to keep coming back to the guy, but Joe Kent was a Democrat and then ran.
Joe Kent is currently unemployed. Todd Blanche is running the DOJ.
Absolutely, but
yeah. I just wanted to point that out, because I didn't know it, so I thought the viewers might be interested to know that about Todd Blanche.
But we have that. You are right, and because we don't have anybody there, even if he was a straight up guy, still be struggling, because of the legacy this guy and Comey left behind. That, I mean, we're talking decades of building up and hiring their buddies throughout all of middle management. So it is
who weeps for Stephen Hatfield in 2002, who Robert Mueller threw the entire weight of the FBI against as the anthrax killer. Stephen Hatfield, of course, was an innocent man. Mueller determined that he deserved bumper to bumper FBI harassment coverage by the entire bureau. Dr. Stephen Hatfield was wrongly accused by Mueller and his FBI in 2002, Eric. That's part of his legacy.
Yeah, what about Richard Jewell?
Oh, well, I don't know about Richard Jewell.
Same thing.
Yeah. But
What about Kenny
Hatfield, he really
Trentadue?
was in the middle. This was Robert Mueller at his peak. Obviously, you know, there's also 9/11 on his watch, which you could get into all you want.
Well, in
But
Oklahoma City, he was in
you
there.
can
He was
all of that.
governor.
It's all
Yep.
Robert Mueller,
Comey.
Eric.
Yeah. No, there was a long, long legacy of Mueller and Comey and all down the line. So we do have to acknowledge he has passed away. Okay, moving on.
Nobody even knew. He wasn't even alive when he gave that testimony. He was so Bidened out. If you recall,
Yep.
when he came to Congress, it was a shanda. What they put, this was elder abuse on the scale we would later see of what they did to Joe Biden. And they did this to Robert Mueller. And there is nothing in that report that has any negative impact on Trump's administration. He was cleared 100%, except that he says, does this clear the president? And he goes, no. He just simply says no, Mueller. He says, well, there's no crimes committed. And he goes, yeah, but that doesn't clear him. Why not? Because I said so.
Yep.
Wow.
And
Wow.
another story that was under their watch, we are right here. New video showing the guards milling about with Epstein only a few feet away in a cell.
This is great because if you scroll down a little bit, I don't know if you can, there's a sign on the bulletin board that they put up about Epstein and guarding him. It's like emphatic going, this means you. Oh, here it is. Check this out, bro. Check this out. Mandatory rounds must be conducted every 30 minutes on Epstein, as per God, meaning the head of the entire prison system. They took the money, allowed these two cats to go in there and murder him and leave. And that was the entire story. I don't know about what happened with his sexcapades and everything else. I am much more fascinated on the murder of Epstein and how so many people allowed this to happen, and that this fat black chick is now going to have to testify under oath behind closed doors in the Comer committee, the oversight committee, in a week or two.
I agree. And by the way,
this is not a complicated case, Eric.
No. But there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, I've been covering Oklahoma City a lot, right? Well, Kenneth Trentadue died under extremely violent circumstances, supposedly self-inflicted death. But he managed to beat himself up, drag himself all over the shell, beat up his knuckles, get taser marks all over him. He's very busy when he was taking his life. But that was also in a shoe, also in a special housing unit, also in the federal custody.
You're trapped like a rat in there. You're trapped like a rat.
And these things happen.
I don't know if they just happen. I think that somebody obviously paid her to look the other way. We have her bank records, for Christ's sakes. Mm-hmm. Why now? Why wasn't this brought to anybody's attention when he was murdered?
Yeah, I think the bank flagged the damn deposit.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little much for her job. What
about the IRS? Didn't they look into it? It's like nope. the flagging of the money would trigger the IRS. Like, hey,
this is the equivalent of the Ashley Babbitt assassination by Officer Byrd. This is a black man killing a white woman. And in this case, this is a black woman allowing a white male to be killed while under her watch. These people were chosen for a particular reason because of their Teflon racial political stature in our society. This woman was beyond reproach, and now she's going to have to testify under oath, thank God.
Yep. I hope she leaves in handcuffs. Again, no statute of limitations on murder, so
no, not at all. In fact, the two guys who she alleges did it by Googling their names, trying to see, hey, I wonder who's doing this job tonight. The two names, I think they're still in custody.
And can I point out that even if she didn't do it herself,
yeah,
the fact if she knew that they were going on, she got paid. That's a felony.
She's a co-conspirator.
And somebody died. That's felony murder.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this is such an easy case to convict. I mean, really, you want to get these two guys who did the job. They're obviously probably assuming doing life without parole. That's who you get to do these jobs traditionally in a federal or state pen. Mm-hmm. Those guys' lives could be made a little bit easier if they cooperate with the federal government.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
commissary privileges,
Yeah.
or we'll put you in a different cell block. Or, yeah,
Oh, there's a
little
million things. Look at Ghislaine Maxwell, who got moved to a low security prison for cooperating.
Yeah, they actually literally changed the
Yes.
standards to move her there. Like they
Yes.
broke all their internal
Yes,
guidelines.
the government can do a lot to get you to cooperate if they have that a will and desire.
And by the way, everybody who said that the government broke the law, it's like, no. They have guidelines and standards.
There's guidelines.
That's not the law.
No,
That's
no. Those are prison guidelines. They're very, very flexible.
Yeah, anything can happen. If it needs to happen, they can do that.
Yeah.
So a nice try. Now, while we're talking about guidelines and policies, I was happy to see this, but Delta has stepped up and they've essentially told members of Congress, sorry, no more white glove treatment.
Whoa.
Tough shit.
Flying coach, get back there and coach.
Yeah, if you can't, take care of us, yes, you'll have a line of your own, but it's depending on everybody else. So you'll be just standing over there by yourself. Tough shit. No escorts, no taking you around. They get a lot of little benefits that are gone. And I'm happy to see Delta, stepping up, because Delta's pissed. The CEO's like, hell with these guys. Now the funny one that I really am enjoying is, I don't know who came up with the idea of deploying ICE, but it is so brilliant. It's beyond scope, because part of the reason they're playing the games with not funding Department of Homeland DHS, sorry, is because of ICE, right? They hate ICE, except ICE has already been funded for 3 years. They're fully funded. They have no worries. And so now Trump they deploy ICE to help out the TSA, which just sticks it right in their face. They've got to look at ICE. And what I love is that the ICE is there, no masks, and they're handing water to the passengers. And like the passengers who are in line, they're like, oh, you need to use the restroom? We'll hold your line in place. The line, no problem. And it is hilarious.
Soft glove treatment.
It is working. The lines were so awful. Nate, the lawyer, had just traveled, and he talked about how it took 8 hours to get out of the airport. It was a complete, utter nightmare last weekend.
Well,
but
there may be a celebration.
They have cured this problem like literally within 2 days. So here's a source talking about it. Is it Fox saying that things are going well? No, it's CNN.
Oh my
So
God.
let's see what CNN's saying about it.
Well, there may be a celebration here at the airport before it's all said and done, especially for the folks who've been working nonstop, extra shifts. If you look right here, you can see this is the main checkpoint. Almost no lines, no waiting, Sarah. It's unbelievable at this point. This morning started briskly with a lot of people showing up here at the airport. Lines were long. People were waiting about an hour. But when that rush hour went away pretty quickly this morning, we ended up with this. And there seems to be more lines open than normal right now with the TSA workers here breezing people through. In fact,
Shocking.
A lot of folks have been showing up shocked.
Hey, that's
how
my
short
baby.
the lines are. Take a listen to some of the folks we talked to this morning.
I don't see how extra security could be bad, I mean, they're going to help out and, make things move a little faster, but whether they're doing that or not, we don't know. But extra security is always good to me.
I mean, you think it's not going to be that bad, but then you get here and, you think, oh man, it really is as bad as they say it is.
Oh, there's nobody there though.
She's not going to let it go.
He's
like,
it's her imagination though. Now is to take it
exactly. Well, that's kind of it can't be right. It can't be right.
I know the images in back of me show no people, but it's worse than I could possibly have imagined as a woman with 5 children and no husband.
Well, it's like the mostly peaceful protests as the fire is going behind them.
And there's nobody in back of this image here, but it's out of control.
Yeah, Dustin in the chat said that he's never seen Atlanta look like that. He said
I've never seen Atlanta look like that.
9
What did they give out free food outside the airport?
No, well, and it was funny because they showed them, and they're walking up, and it's like, oh, here's some water. Here's some water. You want some water? No, go ahead. Here's some water, and it's so hilarious. By the way, Mark Wayne Mullen or whatever was confirmed.
Okay.
Of course, Rand Paul, he voted against him. But I learned a piece of trivia about him.
Go on.
He actually is an Indian.
Oh my God. That's
And
crazy.
I looked it up because I was
He's
like,
a wild Indian.
He's Cherokee. And he's
Cherokee,
registered
okay. Yeah, looks
as Cherokee. He's the only. So sorry, Pocahontas. He's actually Native American there, buddy.
There's a guy named Alan Armstrong. I don't know if people know who he is. He's an energy executive in Oklahoma. And he was one of the big financial supporters of Adam Kinzinger after he voted to impeach Donald Trump. He took the weeping Kinzinger under his financial wings and became his financial benefactor. He is now the new senator of the great state of Oklahoma. And he will not be cooperating with Donald Trump, who, for reasons I can't imagine, has removed a friendly senator and replaced him with a vicious rhino. Again, goes against all my political beliefs, and he will be burned once again by this cat.
Which he
just keeps doing it.
He doesn't. I mean,
he doesn't seem to learn from his own mistakes.
No.
Telephone for Jeff Sessions. Jeff Sessions, telephone.
That's why I do believe when they say, like with Trump, they're like, whoever's in the room with him last or in front, it will get their way. And it's almost like he needs an XO. He needs somebody who's just the asshole. Somebody working for him, a deputy that just blocks everybody and says, no, yes, no, yes, no.
He also needs a political mastermind of just politics, of just domestic politics. Forget about foreign policy, forget about Greenland, forget about all this other boobamisis. He needs a guy who's just a majority whip type guy. LBJ had a guy on the floor that just counted votes, was able to determine who was going which way and who was going what way in terms of voting and everything else. Again, you don't replace a sitting senator for any reason. You could have taken this deputy under the DHS and made him, assistant DHS head. You didn't have to pluck out a goddamn U.S. senator to do this job, Eric.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. I love it. Okay. Fair enough. We got 3 gems. I thought you trusted his judgment. We do, depending. But we're not robots that say
I don't think they understand that. It's just too complicated for them. It's just too complicated. These are autistic people who have an engineering degree, and you can't deviate from any of your factual math equations because it fucks up the algorithm at the end.
Yeah.
They're mentally retarded.
It is a challenge. Now, a piece of advice coming in while we're talking about airports, etc. We had a pretty harrowing accident with the plane here.
Yeah.
And this is really good advice. And I think we can get lazy on it, but Juppy's right. Keep your damn belt on.
Oh, yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah.
Because, and I have gotten in the habit. I used to be like, it's aggravating or whatever. But now I'm like, I'll just keep it on. It takes it takes like 1 second to flip it and go. So let me just hang out and I do that. But
my father was a quiet man, Eric. He very rarely gave me advice. And one time, I think I was 15, I went to him for advice. And not about a particular subject. I just said, Dad, do you have any advice for me as a teenager, as a troubled teen? And his advice was, don't land at LaGuardia in the winter. And I never forgot that quote. And it's the shortest runway around. And people who are piloting jets have to do incredibly bizarre things because it's such a compressed airport. And many times they go off into the Jamaica Bay. We saw that my entire life, especially in winter, spring and winter. In this particular case, this is also similar because of their reduced runway availability at LaGuardia. This fire truck guy who was trying to cross the runway was a first-time fire truck operator, didn't even know how to use the intercom to the tower. And the tower kept saying, stop, stop, stop to the fire truck. He never responded at all. And the time that he did respond, he pushed the button and was talking over him, holding down the button on the intercom. This entire debacle happened because of the fire truck crossing this runway to get to the other side because of the compressed nature of LaGuardia. And I've learned this my entire life growing up in the airline business with my dad as a jet engine mechanic. LaGuardia is a tiny little airport that has massive amounts of traffic, way over the amount that it can handle. And to their credit, these air traffic controllers are somehow able on a daily basis to handle the insanity of LaGuardia. I never knew how they did it. And this one fire truck just fucked up this whole thing.
You
You
know
can
what
hear
it
the tapes. If you listen to the tapes, the fire truck guy goes, you know, again, permission to cross tower. And the guy's going, no, do not cross. Stop. And there's just no response.
Wow.
And to the guy landing, he was already, you know, coming down, you know, onto the runway from where he is, because you have to land on a shorter arc because of LaGuardia's shortened runways.
That's crazy. It makes me. There's another example too. National Airport, I believe, is similar, but that's
it's an older airport.
Well, but they have problems there because of all the military and the Pentagon people flying around. And remember, we had that helicopter hit the plane. Yeah, and that's like a known.
LaGuardia, my whole life has been a place where planes just go right off into Jamaica Bay, either icy runways, but it's really because of they have the shortest runways in the Northeast and in the East.
That's tough.
It is tough. It is very difficult there, very tricky, and one mistake like this fire truck could lead to death.
And I think it could be even worse because we have a mutual friend who's a pilot with FedEx, but he's talked about the 737s, I believe, because they were trying to save money, they've kept them around longer than they should, and the body length is actually longer than they're supposed to be, so they're already tricky to land. Like
how about the stewardess who went 300 feet in the air and lived? The steward, she ended up on the runway.
That's a miracle thing.
That's a miracle. It's an absolute miracle.
She's like that woman who fell out of the plane into the jungle and lived. And why? I mean, there's these crazy stories. I don't know how. Or what about the guy last year who was the only person who survived on the plane? Everybody wanted to know his seat.
Yeah,
because he literally woke up and there's everybody dead around him.
My dad used to come home and tell me how many times that these kids, when I say kids, in the early 20s, were hiding in the wheel well of the plane that landed, usually from the Caribbean or from South America, from that area, and they would run off into the marsh when the plane came to a stop. And the maintenance guys would be like, whoa, what is this? And a guy would come out of the wheel well and run off into the marsh and disappear. Or on occasion, there'd be a dead body up in the wheel well because they flew too high and they froze to death. My dad experienced both of those numerous times working at JFK in New York.
Wow. I can only imagine how scary and painful that would be for, I would never wish that on anybody to be frozen to death.
Right. And the other times that he also said when the wheels came down, the dead bodies would plummet to the tarmac from up there. Some of them that were being held or up above the wheels.
Clean up on runway 3.
Yeah, then they have to deal with the frozen dead body. But many times, I think he said it was like a 60-40 split. They'd be alive and they'd run off into the marsh in Jamaica Bay.
Wow.
I know. Well, he told me that it depended, and it was random, depended on the height of the flight and the busyness of air traffic that particular day coming out of the Caribbean. If they had a low flight, you had more oxygen and less cold air, and a shorter flight definitely helped also.
That makes sense. Or also if they could, how busy it is.
Yeah.
If they're circling with it down.
Yeah.
Versus just landing right away, like boop, boop, land, then there would be better.
Well, it shows you how much people wanted to come into this country, and how desperate they are to get in here, despite what the left.
To them in Cuba.
Yeah, despite what the left continues to say about this place, everyone in the world would change places with them in a millisecond.
I hear that. Now, while we're on the Department of Transportation, I don't know if you saw this story.
Right.
They're actually cracking down like crazy with the drivers, like this guy.
Ooh, I like that.
Can you speak any English? No, don't speak no English.
Okay, so didn't speak English, he said. This trucker failed the test. He was taken out of service right away. He didn't know what the road signs meant.
That's the most important thing.
What's the big deal? They're just...
Yeah.
You don't know what the road signs say. I mean, imagine you're driving a rig in the Soviet, the former Soviet Union in Russia. You have no idea what the signs say, Eric.
Yeah.
You have no idea what this. You're driving a giant rig through the Urals, and going, what does that sign say? I wonder what that means, that speed limit there and that weird squiggly thing. What does that mean in my language?
Oh, slippery. Oops.
Woo!
Yeah, and you run into somebody, but I'm happy to see that they're actually stopping the trucks, talking. What a great idea, because how many times when you're out driving, because I drive more than fly, especially now, you drive by at the weigh stations. The trucks have to go to that. So how about when they go to the weigh station?
I thought about that the other day when I was driving back from Phoenix. I saw those weigh stations, and I thought the same thing. It's a great place to figure everything out, because everyone goes in there.
Exactly. Just ask the question. Hey, blah, 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 whatever it is. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
Where are you going? Where are you coming from? What kind of load do you have? You could get a great idea whether they speak English or not in a very short period of time without asking intrusive questions. You could just ask literally about what they're doing, and that's it. And there'd be no problem. So I don't know. This story kind of broke. I really don't follow OnlyFans or know that much about it, but apparently the guy who created it, Leo Radvinsky, died. He was 43 years old, and he had cancer.
Okay.
And passed away. A lot of people.
Now what happens?
Yeah, I was, kind of ironic. It's like, well, there you go. You've got your sketchy thing or what have you. I guess, disease doesn't care what you do or how much money you have or anything else. But,
I mean, it's to him, it was probably a multi-million-dollar adventure,
Oh yeah. He definitely made a few shekels off of it in one way or another. Anyway, oh, okay. Speaking of terminal cancer, I don't know.
Speaking of terminal cancer, how did we get on this subject?
Hey, I am finding every segue possible.
It's an upbeat moment here.
Hey, well, this one's an interesting case.
Somebody beat terminal cancer? I'd like to hear that story better.
He did not beat it,
Okay.
but he tried to use his diagnosis as an opportunity, and he failed.
Oh, okay.
This guy had terminal cancer, so he traveled across the country to kill his ex-wife.
Oh my God, that's so dark, bro.
He's like, okay, I'm going to die.
You hear this in like bar talk when people are drunk going, what if you had terminal cancer, Bobby? What would you do? Well, I'd throw myself at George Bush's mother and get rid of her with a suicide vest. These crazy things. You don't think anybody would ever do it.
Well, this guy did. He is a stand-up comedian and owner of Chuckleheads.
The stand-up comedian of Chuckles.
Yes.
Chuckleheads. Oh my
Chuckleheads
God.
in Bisbee, Arizona.
Oh, I know that club. That's interesting. Oh my God.
Yeah, he traveled to
Alaska. That's a club that Corolla and these guys go on the circuit at.
Of course,
Chuckleheads. That's a legitimate club.
I know. But he's still wanted to kill
my God. The club owner is a killer.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, though. He missed his wife, apparently that she couldn't get the door open or something, and so he got angry and fired and wound up killing her dad. And then they found him dead.
What a debacle.
In woods,
Alaska?
Yeah, in the woods in Alaska.
So he went from the 110-degree Arizona Bisbee desert climate to the northwest frozen tundra of Alaska to kill this bitch.
Apparently, you know what? Everybody's pointing out. I forgot. Doug Stanhope. He lives in Bisbee. I bet you.
Probably because of the club. He probably is the
I'm
MC.
sure. Oh, I'm sure he's
No,
at
it's
that
a
club.
pretty famous club. Even I've heard of it.
Well, I know, but I'm saying Stanhope he lives there, and he's an interesting case because he actually bought like Bisbee was a mining town, so they had all these miner houses.
Yeah.
And Stanhope, I think, bought like 20 or 30 of the houses or whatever. So he owns like a big chunk of Bisbee. I believe it's Bisbee. I think that is Stanhope. Everybody's pointing out Stanhope. But
wow.
Odds are pretty good that he knew this guy. So that would be.
Wow. I think Corolla probably knew him too.
Odds are pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I would not be surprised.
Speaking of comics, did you see the recent ruling today against Bill Cosby from 1972?
What?
Yeah, a woman was awarded $19 million in cash for being assaulted by the Mr. Jello back in 1972.
Let me guess.
That's
New
how
Yorker?
far. No, I don't know.
Well, because they'd have to change the laws. I mean, unless it was murder, there was a statute of limitations. But New York, I think, changed their law, and that's why we had they
changed it here too. They changed it in L.A. also. I don't know where this happened, but he was a stand-up comic, so I thought I'd bring that up at this time, especially because of the jury ruling of 14 million. I think it was 52 million, cut down to 14 for her, or 19. I'm sorry, 19 million. Because the pain and suffering, it felt like yesterday to her, although it was 1972, over 50 years ago. She had an incredible life that was completely tortured by this, and the 19 million isn't even going to come close.
Okay, they're saying San Francisco. Okay, so California.
Okay, San Francisco, California. Yeah.
But and in fairness, I do think he probably did do it.
Oh
but...
no, nobody's even disputing it.
Yeah.
It's just a question of the money and the time period of the event. You know, after 40 years, she thought about going public, and she said, "Nah, I can't. It's only been 40 years." And 45 years, she reconsidered and thought about it in like 2008. And then, I don't feel comfortable yet. I really don't. But 2026, I think that would be a good time for me to go public with this.
Hey, you know what? Not everybody saves for their retirement in different ways, Mark.
Yeah. Why even have a statute of limitations?
Retirement.
Why even have it if you're going to throw it out whenever you want?
Well, and that is the question that I have. I find that kind of weird, and I don't know how it's constitutional where you say, okay, everybody, these are the set of laws you're living with right now. It's like, what about grandfathering in? I get murder.
I would presume they would grandfather it in legally. That I agree with you.
Yeah, like if you do it today, it can be till the end of time. But I'm going to backdate it.
How do you go retroactively backwards, eliminating a law that prevented you from doing that, and then prosecute people who at the time were not subject to prosecution? I don't get it. That's why the whole Me Too thing was so corrupt and so unconstitutional, and yet nobody seemed to challenge it.
I agree, and that is it does bother me just on that the sense of wait, whoa, you're going to change the fact now? But all right, well, while we're on crime here, this is a case that is just bonkers. I mean, every part of it. Quadruple amputee, pro cornhole player, shoots and kills somebody.
What's a pro cornhole player?
Well, see my point. So you've got multiple levels here.
Yeah, this is
pro cornhole player. Like literally, he
Wait, he doesn't have any hands.
ESP.
How's he pulling the trigger here?
He has skills, buddy. This guy has a specially modified gun in his specially modified car. He shot and killed
a specially
another
modified
guy.
person.
Well, that guy's been modified and died.
Tesla SUV.
Yep.
Is this the victim? Oh my God! Look at this guy, and he's a professional wrestler. Or is that his basketball uniform? Is he wrestling, or is that
no? That's cornhole. I think that might be his cornhole uniform.
What is cornhole? Is that a type of wrestling?
No, cornhole is these boards. You've seen them before. You see that board, and there's like bean bags, and you throw it and try to get in the hole in the.
Right. Okay.
And that's him. He's doing that. So I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing. But he's actually a professional. That's on ESPN doing this.
That's on ESPN.
Yeah.
No wonder I don't watch ESPN anymore. That's insane.
Anyway, but it's been shown that he
What
has
is this now? What is this?
That's a rifle that he's shooting.
Oh,
There's
my
another shot of
goodness.
him climbing a damn tree that, or
Oh, get
video of
out of
it.
here.
So,
So who did he kill? I don't understand. What happened with this guy?
he killed some friend or former friend or whatever it is. There was two passenger. It's kind of a crazy case. Apparently, he shot the guy in the passenger seat, then told the guys in the back, "Hey, can you help me get him out of the car?" And they just dove and they ran off, called the police. They were like, "Oh, hell with this." And now he's been arrested. But can you imagine trying this case? Because
Well, let me ask you this.
he shot and killed him. Well,
Let me ask
are
you
you
this.
sure? No.
Let me ask you this. I always go to the simplest part of the story. How do they cuff him? How do they cuff him after the arrest? I'll take my answers off the air.
Oh, okay. Well, in fairness, you could just say, "Sit over there, don't run off."
Okay, but that's not cuffing a guy who's a murderer.
No, but as long as he's unarmed, literally.
Well, you don't know that. He
I
could do a
mean,
lot of
it's
damage
kind
with
of-
those stumps, and you can't just have a guy loosey-goosey who's
I
a murderer.
understand that.
Are there restraints for people who don't have hands?
I have never thought of that. Calling Al Gonzalez.
Yeah, Al Gonzalez, come in, telephone for Al Gonzalez. What
Well,
do you
somebody
do with
say-
a double amputee in relation to restraints? And I'll take my answer off the air.
By the way, leg chains don't fly. He has no legs either, guys.
Right, right. He could get on a skateboard or a motorcycle and be gone in a second.
And everybody's saying duct
cruiser.
tape. I mean, that
Yeah.
could be the standby. I mean, if you could duct tape the arms down, but again, I'm just saying to make sure he's unarmed. Again,
Well, he
both
is
levels,
unarmed.
and-
He's unhanded.
exactly on both levels.
You got to hand it to him, Eric. For committing such an heinous act with such limited skills.
or extreme skills.
Yeah, I'd like to see. What if there was a Bond villain like that who was taking on James Bond, and Bond goes, "Yeah, look at you. You don't scare me." And then he goes into all his things, and he's a real nemesis to Bond.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll tell you this: there's a restaurant downtown here in LA on 7th Street called Zaya, and it's a fancy brunch restaurant, jazz clubby kind of place, right? So they had an incident yesterday where I think it was like a table of 8 black women were brunching together at Zaya, and they got the bill. What's that? They got
quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. They got the bill, downtown mass stabbing, and they began stabbing each other, fighting over who had what and who's going to pay for the bill. I've never seen anything like this. Multiple ambulances everywhere, multiple arrests, police arresting various stabbers, and then ambulances treating the wounded who may or may not have been stabbers because they were all stabbing each other.
At a downtown LA restaurant.
Gigi Graciette is there with more on what started the fights. Gigi.
And that's right. According to law enforcement sources, both the suspects and the victims, well, they were all friends. Actually, some of them may even be related to each other. Take a look. Video shared on Citizen app showed quite a large response by police and paramedics with multiple victims down in different locations. And then there was the search for suspects and all of the bystanders who were watching the drama unfold at Zaya Restaurant on 7th in downtown LA. This morning, we have exclusive new information about what happened as the private party was wrapping up. Servers brought the group their bill, and that's what sources say.
Now, I've heard of fighting over a bill, but
Right, these weren't dine and dash people. These were people not complaining to the restaurant. They were fighting among themselves.
Well, I know you've
It's
talked about your cheap friends in New York. This just took it to a new level.
Yeah, oh, definitely. This is another level I've never heard of before.
Fighting started. It was 4:40 in the afternoon. The all-girl group apparently
Hold on, look how many
disagreeing on something and
ambulances.
began
It's an all-girl group, by the way. And I don't mean the Shangri-Las or the Supremes. I mean the table.
The slicers.
The cutters were all women, and they were fighting because somebody might have had 2 orders of buffalo chicken wings, and they only wanted to pay for 1. I don't know what was on the menu. Nevertheless, their stabbing fight was about the bill and themselves internally paying or not paying for what they ate.
Exactly. It's like one of your incidents with Gilbert Godfrey going out of control.
That's right. That's absolutely true. And I don't know
with
how
each
they
other.
resolve this. Go
Police
ahead. I'm sorry. Go
One
ahead.
of the women pulled out a knife while another one grabbed a bottle. The war of words quickly turning into a very dangerous fight. The fire department says 5 people were evaluated at the scene. 4 of them, all women, taken to the hospital, ages 26 to 37. All of them were stabbed. Some with a knife, another with the bottle. The 5th victim, police are calling her Jane Doe. They don't know who she is because even though she had some serious cuts to her face, she decided to just leave. By early evening, police confirmed 2 suspects were arrested, and this morning, those 2 suspects, both women, are behind bars, facing assault with a deadly weapon charge. Bringing it back here live, we're told one of the suspects is apparently related to one of the victims who got stabbed. No word today if that bill ever got paid at the restaurant.
That is the most important question. and
That's
I'm
right.
sure that-
That's right. Wow. And it's so funny because this is considered an upscale place. This is not a bar in Pomona. I mean, this place has like a little jazz trio playing, and they have like a Creole brunch or whatever they got going on until the bill comes, and then it's stabbing right out of Bates Motel.
Wow. Wow. Speaking of Bates Motel, no, it's close enough to Patrick Bateman, the character.
Yeah.
Gavin Newsom released a side-by-side shot of him and who is it? Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And he's saying everybody says I look like Christian Bale. Do you see it? And he kind of does, but
that story, he's now embracing a story that's been out there for like 6-7 years.
Yep.
So he's now trying to get around this story where he's a dead ringer for the character in American Psycho, and it's hard. There's been so many memes and so many photo splits of him and the American Psycho character that it's hard to get around it other than embracing it, I think, is what they've told him to do.
I agree. Now, this is a Hollywood story, even though it wasn't in Hollywood, it's actually in Tennessee. Alan Ritchson, who plays the character Reacher.
Yeah, what is this? I saw a little video of him going bananas.
Yeah. Right now, I will say if you've ever seen him, he's roided up like crazy. He totally looks roided.
Maybe Rage roided up too.
I thought so, but then there's more that's coming out, and a second video has come out of this. He was riding his bike, and apparently the bike is loud. It's like a green Kawasaki or whatever. The neighbor got in front of him.
Oh boy.
And stopped, and he like fell over on the bike, because the neighbor is there.
Oh man.
So in fairness, he got a little bit pissed off at the neighbor for making him fall off the motorcycle, which I would probably be a little annoyed too.
I'd run the neighbor over. I'd back up.
He ultimately beat the guy down because the guy he was like trying to get the bike back up. The guy kept getting, and he just beat him down, and the guy's down, and he hit him again. He's like, "Don't get up." And
I like when they tell you not to get up, but you get up anyway.
Well, and if you're looking at this, roided up monster, maybe you should
stay down,
choose another course. But the guy was kind of being a Karen, and complaining. So there is another story to it, because I will say my initial reaction was, steroids bad.
Yeah, but maybe steroids are still bad, and he was right, right in what he was doing. But
that's fair.
It could be both, Eric.
It can be. I definitely think that's fair. Now, did you ever watch the show with the Duggars? Where it's like this family that has like more kids than anybody's ever heard of.
I didn't watch that. Those shows with a lot of kids get on my nerves. That's why the Baldwin show failed, because you don't care. Alec Baldwin had a show similar to the Duggars, where the hijinks of the kids and the mother and the nanny and all the stuff. After a while, you just go, who gives a shit about these kids anymore?
Well, apparently the hijinks seem to involve things with children, and it's not taking them to the park.
Right. I remember that part of it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the one brother, he's in prison right now, right?
Yeah.
Well, it appears that his other brother has been arrested now, and Kendra, the wife, and I don't know who's actually the Duggar. I don't know any. I've never watched the show, but apparently now she has been arrested. So,
wow.
really bad things seem to be happening
Are
with
they
these
Mormons, by the
children.
way?
I don't know
They're
what
from
they are.
Arkansas or are they from Utah?
They're Arkansas, it
Yeah.
appears. But I don't know what their religious is or the extent they don't believe in birth control, I think.
Obviously.
You know, that seems to
the
be
same as
expected.
the Baldwins don't believe in birth control. They believe in purchasing babies, though. Apparently.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you have the Baldwins. They don't believe in the same woman birthing the child.
Right,
either.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It's multiple.
they go
Yeah, we like to have multiple genetics in this family, so nobody looks alike.
they
None of his
definitely-
kids look alike, so it's just they got them on the open market, and surrogate.com, I guess, is where you go for that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they have repeats. I don't even know. But all right, you sent me this story. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but it's interesting. A meteorite tears into a woman's home.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you get these meteor stories, and you wonder what's going to happen next. But a lot of them are in Texas, and I always wondered why it always happens in Texas, other than it may be just a big landmass. But here it is over Houston. The meteorite crashed through a Houston woman's roof. They always seem to go through a roof. They always seem to be in the kitchen making a cake. 3 feet in diameter is pretty
That's
damn
huge.
It's huge, Eric, and weighed
Yeah, it is. I mean,
1
think about
ton. Weighed 1 ton where? On Mars? How does a 3-foot meteor weigh 1 ton?
Oh, absolutely, because it's condensed. It's like a cannonball in
Okay.
density.
But a
I know. I'm
ton?
just saying.
I mean, it says a ton. I don't know.
Yeah,
what
no,
kind of a ton?
I mean,
2,000 pounds?
yeah.
Oh no! Come on, that's
No,
gotta
it's
be a
it's
misprint.
that dense. I
That's
mean,
good.
it's literally that dense. It is like
Could
a
be.
cannonball that came through. I mean, Al Parks, a meteorite's worth its weight in gold.
Al Parks is onto something, because obviously this is going to be a big eBay sale for this woman in Houston. She
I hope
immediately
so.
she immediately got on the phone and said, "Houston, we have a problem."
Oof. Ouch.
I'll be here all week, folks.
Yeah, you are.
Well, luckily nobody got hurt, which is the good thing, because getting hit by that, I think that might have ended a lot of your future.
Oh yeah. Well, consider that it is like a cannonball, only it's shot from space. So I mean, the distance and the speed that had to be going, there probably is quite a crater.
Yeah,
I would think, with something like that hitting.
they called Bruce Willis to intercept the meteor, but he was busy with his medicine. They couldn't really respond quickly enough.
No, he forgot.
By the way, did you see who was at Graceland today?
Yesterday, I thought.
Oh, yesterday. I mean, that was fascinating watching him at Graceland.
Yeah. Signing the guitar.
Signing Elvis's guitar and listening to the curator. He was very humbled. Somebody said, who was watching him with me, said he's so quiet. And I think he gets humbled in the presence of like real American,
Well, see where he grew up. He grew up probably as an Elvis fan.
Well, he
And-
said that. He did say that a couple of times. This is Trump signing the Elvis guitar at Graceland.
What I like about the signing of the guitar, I don't know if you saw this. I saw a video clip of it, and he asked, when they handed him the pen to sign it, he asked, "Has this been tested yet?"
Oh, I saw
And they
that,
said
yeah.
No, and they said, "Can I get a sheet of paper?" And
Yeah.
he tested. No, I'm just saying that extra thought, into not wanting.
Not only did
to
I see it,
ruin the interview.
I copied the video and sent it to you.
Okay.
Of him doing that, actually. And I took some still photos, but I also took a little video clip.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, because I've been to Graceland. I've been everywhere where Trump was going. I have been in that portion of the house. I had a private tour of Graceland, and I took my crew. And by the way, Pam Bondi was there for reasons I have no idea, letting Todd Blanche apparently run the Justice Department while she's in Graceland. He pointed out that she was there. I don't know who the older gentleman was in the middle. I'm guessing it might have been his uncle, but I somehow doubt that the guy's still alive, although he looked like he was 100. and he didn't really speak. The other guy on the right was a factual curator, and then the woman was a tour guide, the woman next to Trump on the left. But I've been in that house, I've been in that spot, and I went there with my photographer from the magazine Cleveland Stores and another person, and we were given a private tour of Graceland when we were waiting in the kitchen of Graceland right there, which is how it looked back then. This must have been 1991. And we're in the kitchen waiting, and Cleveland opens up the refrigerator and goes, "Holy shit, the king only drank Diet Coke." And we go over and look, and the entire refrigerator is filled with Diet Coke. And as we're saying that, we hear a guy come into the kitchen in a bathrobe, an older guy going, "Don't you anything touch my Diet Coke. Get away from there." And we went, "Oh." And it was Elvis's uncle, who was still living on the top floor of Graceland at the time it was open to the public. And we were on a private tour for MTV. But nevertheless, he still lived upstairs in Graceland at the time and was upset that we were not contemplating of stealing his Diet Coke, but merely looking at it.
Hey, I mean, you know how many people have gone through and grabbed his damn Diet Coke?
Apparently everybody. And they took us into a room that had a pool table in it, and there were pool cue holes in the wall that we noticed very subtly. There were pool cue, like somebody was chucking a pool cue, and then there was a TV that Elvis had shot out with a bullet that was still there.
Oh,
I don't know if Trump saw that. I don't know.
Oh, this is a good point. Trump has been known to drink his Diet Coke.
Yeah,
He
so
is a big
that's
Diet
why I'm
Coke
mentioning
fan.
it.
But you know, one thing I like about Diet Coke, it has no calories. And
Yeah,
you know
that's
what
good.
else is a healthy drink and doesn't have a lot of calories?
Water.
Coffee.
Oh, coffee. I'm sorry, I got that wrong.
America's Untold Story Supreme Breakfast Blend, as a matter of fact. If you
Supreme
drink
Leader
this,
blend.
you
Yeah.
don't have to add anything to it. You don't have to embellish it. You can drink it straight. You can drink it black, and that keeps the calories down. So I'd recommend you check that out, or the Magic Bullet Blend. I go back and forth. For a second, I preferred the Magic Bullet Blend, but then I was like, well, I ran out and I had the other still in hand. I had that. It's like, no, I don't. So now I just alternate back and forth between the two of them and enjoy them both. And you can too. You
Okay.
can point your phone at the screen and hit that icon right in the middle, that QR code, or just go to americasuntoldstories.com/coffee. If you're listening, just remember that, americasuntoldstories.com/coffee. That'll take you right to the site, to the flavors that we have. Or you can click a link in the description wherever you happen to be watching this. And it does help us out. We get a small commission for every bag that is sold. But the most important thing is for you, this is not white label coffee. And I can't stress that enough. There's a lot of people out there who hawk, hey, let's get our coffee, which is this cool name or that cool name. This is actually custom blended, custom roasted coffee for us. He designed it. It's a veteran. He sent it. We tried it. We said, hey, thumbs up. We definitely like that flavor. It's custom. So I hope you consider doing that. And I always recommend, if you get 4 bags, it's free shipping. So I always get 4 or more bags of the coffee. I get some of this, and they also have some great flavored coffee, not associated with those, but still good. And that'll all be part of the same shipment. So you might want to have some dessert coffee
Right
at
on,
night
right
or
on.
different things. My wife is weird. She likes chocolate orange coffee. I don't know what it is.
Whoa.
A lot of women seem to like the
Whoa.
orange flavored coffee.
Weird.
I don't know why, but she does like that. So
More power
it
to
is
her.
what it is. They have that. They have other great flavors. Irish cream, I believe.
Irish cream is good.
Yeah, they have something called Blackbeard's Grog. That's kind of a coconut flavored coffee.
Weird. That's a good one.
I don't know. I like just the breakfast blend. I like plain coffee. I don't want to hide.
Simple man with simple tastes.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's coffee. I don't need other flavors. I tease my wife and I say, well, yeah, you really don't like coffee. Because
Maybe
she's
she
got to
doesn't.
have
Maybe
a
this
bunch of
is a,
things
this
to
is,
embellish it. It's like,
it's a substitute for her.
well, it's a delivery mechanism. It's kind of the way I eat mushrooms on pizza. Now, pizza is a delivery mechanism for piles of mushrooms, and I like her. Something like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, on my current diet, I've been eating the shit out of mushrooms and onions with eggs, and it allows me to get more bulk for very low calories. So I have been eating a ton of mushrooms.
Yeah, if I was ever a vegetarian, I would probably eat mushrooms 4 times a day.
I'm eating them like twice a day as it is right now.
Yeah.
Putting them on turkey burgers and putting them in omelets, because it tastes good. It fills up a lot of this, stomach, and it doesn't seem to be very high calories.
100%. Now, I got this story here about somebody who you almost worked with on a movie. Unfortunately, he's still having some problems.
Oh boy. All my friends, not all my friends, but some of my friends are still having problems.
Yeah, well, this one that won't surprise you. Old Shia LaBeouf.
Oh my God.
He's in
Poor
Rome
Shia.
apparently, and having problems with women at another table.
Is he still in Louisiana? Is this still in New Orleans?
In Rome now.
He's in Rome?
I guess so.
Boy, this guy gets around.
But look at his reaction. It's like this unhinged almost. Apparently he's wandering around.
We may have to go to some upper level stars in recovery to deal with this particular project. We may have to go to another level.
Probably. I mean,
yeah, I have to have some discussions with some bigger fish to take down this maniac. But yeah, he was supposed to go into Angola prison for a movie, and I thought, hey, they may never let him out of Angola. The way things have been going, so I don't know what he's doing in Louisiana, in Rome. I didn't know that was on his agenda, but he got out of jail the other day in New Orleans and started running, and the paparazzi were like running alongside of him, and it just seemed like something out of Breaking Away or something, and they're da-na-na, da-na-na, and he's running along, and they're keeping up with him.
Wow, that is amazing.
Hope he gets sober soon.
I hope so too. I mean, good luck. He has before, I guess, for a while.
Yeah, he's had some years.
So I mean, that's
he knows what he's got to do.
Well, while we're on music, you brought up Elvis. There's music.
Oh, I just want to finish this thing about Elvis because a lot of people don't know that Elvis is Jewish, and his great grandmother was Jewish. Not that he practiced Judaism, Elvis, or his parents, but his great grandmother was apparently Jewish, and Elvis was well aware of this, and he would wear a chai around his neck, a gold chai, the Jewish symbol for life around his neck, and then his beloved mother's tombstone has a Jewish star on it for people who find this to be an odd story.
Oh.
Just wanted to add that into the Elvis storyline for Graceland today. They took us also on the Lisa Marie, which was his private jet. Mm-hmm. We kind of like a private tour, so they took us to an Air Force base or an airport nearby, near Graceland, and took us on his plane. It was called the Lisa Marie. Mm-hmm. And this plane had like gold faucets, gold toilet seats, gold. Everything was gold. There was like a bed.
And you wonder why Trump likes him.
Yeah, no. I wish they would have gone on the plane. I don't know if it's still there. But of course, being a wise guy, I had to get into the bed, and it had a giant seatbelt that went across it. It was like a queen-size bed in the middle of the plane. So I got onto the bed, and I unbuckled the seatbelt, and I said to the curator, I said, is this the bed that Elvis would sleep in when they were flying? And she goes, oh yeah, but please don't get in the bed. Please get off the bed. And I said, well, this is great. And I'm like rolling around with the seatbelt on. She was very upset. She was very glad to see us go. But yeah, I remember the Lisa Marie plane that he had.
Well, apparently Trump got to learn some trivia that Elvis was actually blonde and dyed his hair black.
Yeah. Well, most Elvis fans know that, but he didn't.
Apparently not.
And also, they told him the story of the police badges, how he collected all the and met with Nixon, and the guy who was the curator went into a conversation with him about the box office receipts by the Baz Luhrmann Elvis movie that recently came out, and Trump's like going, "Where's he going with this?" And he was talking about how great the recent.
It had to be helpful for their museum. I bet it, increased tourism by a lot.
Yeah.
I would say that Baz Luhrmann probably has a free ticket for life if he ever wants to.
Definitely. I think it was Austin Butler who plays Elvis in that movie, by the way. And Butler is an amazingly talented actor and a great Elvis for people who remember Kurt Russell playing Elvis and other people playing Elvis. Austin Butler, fantastic Elvis.
Okay. So while we're on music, to segue through, you sent me this. A failing California school district pays for black kids to learn rap.
Well, when the reading, writing, and arithmetic doesn't work out, they always go to urban street culture. And never fails. They fail at their own job, and they literally let the inmates run the asylum here in this school system.
Amazing. All right. Well, here we go.
Merced City School System, Merced, California, up north.
Their justifications: explore identity and community, learn artistic skills, create original works, record in a studio environment, and perform for families and communities.
Right. Now, this could be some course you would take at a community college for $35, not a public high school. That's the difference here. The description that you see there might be in your local community college. And apparently they've decided to combine the two, give up on reading, writing, and arithmetic, and make it into a school for rap. Maybe they could get somebody to do a movie about it.
Well, apparently their organization also hosted a concert for championing the legacy of Cesar Chavez, which they don't want to talk about now.
Oh boy, now yep.
All right. Well, that's a lovely story. But you know what? I don't care about that. I do care, however, about super chats because we have a very
big thing with
audience.
You. Okay,
that's
let's get to that. Okay,
that's right.
So
we got Susan Awesomeness 2634 saying thanks. Thank you, Susan. And we have Lisa Deed 9899. Mark always on the bullseye. Blanche is a douche, but Trump liked him. He was Trump's personal lawyer, and that's the problem.
But there was a guy named Cohen who was his personal lawyer before that, and he liked him. I mean, the guy's learning curve is not very, very strong. I could put it that on certain areas of hiring and firing seems to be his Achilles heel.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Diffuse Tractor Guy gifted 10 America's Untold Stories memberships. And you know what? I want to bring up right in between while we're talking about super chats and all that. And we thank you very much, for the support, obviously, and buy coffee. That helps. Times are tough right now on YouTube. If you look and watch your creators, they'll tell you, but you can always do this for free.
Oh, really?
If you've just discovered the channel, you're not a regular. You can always subscribe to the channel if hey, we kind of like this news. We like the way.
How much does that cost? What does that cost me?
It's free. It's still free.
Okay, still free.
Barely, but it is free.
Okay.
And consider it. Again, that helps us out a ton. You can tell friends, you can subscribe again for free. Why not? It's free. Let me see. Justin Wright. Part of the reason the DOT inspectors did not enforce for so long is the foreigners would have cut a hole in the floor and used it as a toilet while driving. Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure about those two events, but
wow. Couldn't you just use a bottle and save time?
Does that allow them to speak English? I don't understand the English reading skills part of the bottle hole in the floor.
Yeah, I think
I think this is about I think we were discussing linguistically challenged foreigners,
correct,
on the road.
Yeah, But thank you.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Yes.
Good to know.
Pam Elam, regarding DCA, no commercial flights. DCA needs to be strictly military. Force politicians to fly Dulles and or
That's a good idea.
BWI.
That's a good idea.
DCA historically military. Okay.
That's a good idea.
I don't mind that.
Sometimes you have to divert to other airports, though, when you're low on fuel and shit.
That's true. Pamela, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you, Pamela. Thank you so much. And we have Sean Lucan saying, great show, gentlemen. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Thank you, Sean. And Big Bill 767. Here we go. Mark is right about LGA LaGuardia.
Yeah.
Short runways and last 2,000 runway are built up.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a freeway overpass.
Yeah.
They freeze early, so I stop early and avoid going off the end.
Thank you, Big Bill. I've learned this at my father's knee, but nevertheless, it hasn't changed since I was a kid. So yeah, I'm assuming this is a pilot, but
oh yeah, the 767 is kind of a hint.
That's a kind of a pilot kind of lingo there. But I stop early and avoid going off the. Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say I stop early and avoid going off the end, but historically, many have not stopped early and ended up in Jamaica Bay.
Can you imagine landing a 767 there too? I mean,
well, they try to keep
keep
international flights and bigger jets out of there, but nevertheless, the same metrics apply to smaller planes that go off that runway into the drink. And there are photos you can go back in time since LaGuardia was opened to, if you think I'm making this up.
Oh no, I believe it. I mean, in a way, it's kind of like, well, it's good that it goes out the pier. It's not running into a neighborhood or
right. There's no neighborhood. It's just you're in the frozen Jamaica Bay, swimming for your life in an icy death maneuver.
Well, if it only froze over, they could just keep.
It never does. It never does. It's always like just chunky ice.
Yeah, what a shame. What a shame. Let me see. Tall Paul 521 is saying, don't think he has a leg to stand on in court.
Who, that quad guy?
Yeah, I think so. I think
wow.
He'll be here all day, Tall Paul. Paul, I think he worked with some comedians himself.
Wow.
He's
a quad amputee. He's not quadriplegic.
Oh, that's true.
Right.
But it's difficult to stand in both cases.
He seems to be able to wrestle, professional wrestle. Yeah, he as long as you're balanced on those stumps, Eric, I think you could do different things.
Yeah. He has some skills. Justin Wright. They would defecate all over the undercarriage, and inspectors did not want to get close to inspect at way stations. Also, they are pressured not to bother the immigrant drivers to all our peril.
Well, that's
the last part, I think, is what literally.
Yeah, that's a separate story there, Justin. The last part. I mean, we can't control that. I mean, either you enforce the law or you don't. You know, in terms of who these people are, I don't think you need to get into the undercarriage. Just like Eric said, you can have brief conversations with them and quickly.
Hi, how you doing? Come on down. Hey, what are you doing?
How about those Yankees, huh?
Yeah, or just like the guy. Do you speak English? Do you speak English? No.
Okay. That's gonna bum them out. That's gonna bum them out.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Too bad. Taylor Latham. Thanks, guys. Well, and by the way, and thank you very much. Think about it though. These are good paying jobs.
Yeah.
There are American drivers who I'm sure will, you know what, if you got a problem that your drivers keep getting pulled over and you can't keep them, maybe you hire some American drivers. You won't have that problem anymore. It'll go away.
Well, they shouldn't have gotten the license to begin with. That's the key thing.
Agreed.
They've now taken away tens of thousands of licenses in the state of California alone, apparently. Some astronomical number of licenses have been revoked. I had no idea it was in the thousands, Eric, of these illiterate CDL truck drivers and illegal aliens on top of it.
I would hate to do it, but the problem is so bad. I would think that I would set a one-time policy that you have to come in to renew your license. Every single one, you know, for all licenses that are out there, and stop them, but for 100% of licenses on the next expiration, you have to come inside and you have to actually, talk.
Okay.
I would
My
think.
answer is random roadblocks to check for
Sure.
people's ability to speak English.
I'm fine with that too. I'm saying do
Okay.
both.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Random roadblocks, my friend. Keeps moving. They never know where it's going to be. As if they were looking for a kidnapper or drunk drivers. It's constitutionally okay. It's been approved by the courts, and you can see if they speak English.
Yeah, or just like they do in Arizona. I mean, they do roadblocks. If you're driving through Arizona, between like Tucson and Nogales or whatever, or even Tucson.
What about
to
that
New
state
Mexico?
prison over there? When you go by that state prison, it says don't pick up hitchhikers.
No, but they have random roadblocks that are not. They're not DUI checkpoints. They're literally just random roadblock, and they're like, "Do you have
totally legal? Totally legal.
vegetables? Do you have this? Do you have that?" It's just
Do you have heroin? Totally legal.
They don't usually ask that, but not a little specific. You have anything to declare? That's always my favorite.
Anything I would find in your trunk that may be an issue later on in court. No. Go ahead. Go in there.
No, but perhaps we definitely never know what is going to happen there. Let me see. What was it? I had one more I wanted to do. Oh yeah. I did not know this was going on. Apparently there are some Iranian spies that are in Silicon Valley.
What?
Yeah. So you have alleged Iranian spies who have been infiltrating Silicon Valley. And this goes up a little bit further than that, though. This sister,
that's one
she's
hot
one
spy.
of them. Oh, yeah, I'm sure that
Is
helps.
that one of the spies?
Yeah. Wow. She, along with her sister and brother-in-law, were stealing tech secrets. So they're working in Silicon Valley and stealing technology, which is obviously a big deal.
Right.
This is with family, but this guy here.
Oh, this guy looks guilty as shit.
And he's a regular contributor for the New York Times. He's collected more than $250,000 in checks drawn on the official bank account since 2007. He's gotten health insurance through them through 2011 with the federal complaint named against this guy. So I always love it. So you've got a guy.
Which one is he? Woodward or Bernstein? Which one is this guy supposed to be? This intrepid journalist.
Serious-Stein.
Yeah.
Very intense boy.
Yeah. Well, he has no place to go home to now.
No.
How about this fat fuck? What's his angle on this?
Well, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison on espionage charges.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
Oh, and then there was another one that Biden issued a full pardon for.
Of course he did.
Of course
he did. Probably gave him He probably gave him uranium to take home as a parting gift. Tell him what he's won, Bob.
To be in the U.S.
Yeah, tell him what he's won. You've won a giant bag of uranium. Come on down.
Wow. Finley Sallow here in the chat said there's a huge number of Iranians in Northern California around their home. So,
yeah, well, there are, even by me, they call themselves Persians, and most of them are Jewish, and they run Beverly Hills, who have been here since the collapse of the Shah, who have been very happy about Trump's moves to take down the Iranian Mueller regime. So it depends on who you're talking about as Iranians.
Well, I think we're talking about recency.
Yeah.
The ones that came in the 70s, I don't think anybody is, or even 80s, nobody's going to have a problem. They're escapees.
Yeah, they're escapees of the regime.
Oh, right. But it's the later ones that are here that
I don't know. I don't know anything about these people, but, don't let them go. I mean, the Chinese ones, they let them go back to Shanghai. The ones they catch you with Chinese. Have a nice day. We caught you espionage doing espionage. We're going to send you back to China. No, don't. Oh, by the way, I took 2 Ubers yesterday. The first Uber I took, the guy was listening to the GPS in Chinese. And I thought, it's kind of interesting. On the way back, I got a Russian, and he was listening to the GPS in Russian. Neither one of them spoke English. And I'm going like, I'm listening to, you hear the names of the streets. You know what I mean? Left, right? But the Siri was in Mandarin, and the other one was in Russian.
Well, it's kind of charming. At least
Yeah.
I'm used to Spanish.
Right.
Well, and some sort of Arabic because I've gotten rides before that seem to be like an Arabic or Farsi or I don't know.
Every time the Russian guy spoke English, the Chinese guy didn't speak a word of English. The Russian guy spoke English, and he would turn around and look at me and say something, and I go, "No, I'm good." He goes, "No, I am on the phone." I go, "Okay, well, don't turn around and look at me then." He did it like 5 times. I go, "Are you talking to me? Like, what's going on here, bro?" And he goes, "No, I'm just checking to make sure everything's okay." I go, "Are you talking to me now?" Talking to whoever was on the earphone.
He's
Very confusing.
There to make you crazy.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, you know what? We are going to continue this discussion over on Locals, where all the cool kids hang out.
Where you can get that PDF of the Reverend's first edition on Martin Luther King.
Abernathy,
yeah, Ralph Abernathy's first edition. That's worth the price of admission to me if you want to join. Where do I find this place, Eric? If I was just listening to the show.
If you're just listening to the show, you could just remember unstructured.locals.com. And if you didn't write that down, we'll say it again, unstructured.locals.com.
Yeah.
Or if you just go and you're like, dang it, I don't remember what the hell he said, you can always go to a description of any episode.
Oh, any
episode. Right in the, down underneath in the description, it'll say, hey, over on Locals, there's a show and a private chat. There's a link right there. You just click it. If you're, on YouTube or you happen to be somewhere else, links there and you can watch.
How many is this, like 100 a month or 60 a month? Like, is it really steep? What do you mean? No. Is this like $30 a month? Like, what would I have to pay to join you fools over there having a conversation?
The people who are joining the fools over there, well, those fools, many of them paid $70 for a year.
Oh, a year. Okay, that's progressive.
So they paid once for the whole year, $70, and not only get the book, that'll be an expensive book, but you also have things like the Oswald 5-part series audio drama that I think a really, really famous Hollywood person was asking about and is getting turned on to. I heard from somebody.
What?
You've got LBJ.
Who's already a member, by the way. He's already a member of Locals.
Okay, that individual is a member?
Yeah, he's been a member for he told me, for years.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure that it's some goofy screen name, and that's the other thing. You can have.
He's got a goofy screen name. Yeah, he's got a goofy screen. I don't know what it is, but
I wouldn't know either. Right?
Because I was telling him about Locals, and he says I'm already a member, and I went,
okay. All right. Well, it's there, and he may have already checked it out there, and all the rest of you could, and we could all be guessing together who the individual is. But you too could have a secret screen name that's different than your own.
Oh, that's right. That's
like
right.
You here on YouTube. Somebody's complaining that Locals is down, which makes no sense because I have it open.
Down. It's open. We're going over there.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. There's 100.
There it is. We're looking at it right now.
There, so
a really big shoe.
Okay. If somebody's saying that it's not working, are you in France? And I'm not being sarcastic.
Is it blocked in France?
I think they're blocked in France.
Okay.
Well, somebody else is saying they're down, so I don't know.
Oh, it's multiple people saying it.
Okay. Well, while
they're just solving this problem, I will use this opportunity to say that tomorrow on What's Up with Lord Buckley, I'm doing a deep dive on the comic actor Gene Wilder. And if you thought Richard Pryor's life was bizarre, Gene Wilder's life is crazier than Richard Pryor's. And I don't mean that with drugs and alcohol. So that's kind of out. And then Viva and I are doing on Thursday Viva and Lord Buckley Go to the Movies on the French Connection, one of the greatest car chase movies of all time. Following, I think it was 2 years after the bullet chase.
Okay, well, and so as you can see, there's another chat going on in Locals right now.
What are these people talking about?
Oh, they're saying, hey, it's working.
We're over here and it's working.
Good. I'm not down. Working here. It's working. It's working. So
all right. Well, let's go over there. I'm going to go to the bathroom and you guys can resolve all this and we'll meet you over there in a couple of minutes.
All right, and give it a try. And if you can't get it today, get it on the replay.
Get it on the
you can join
replay
for
because
free.
you don't get ads interrupting the show. You can watch the show live like these people do on Locals. And there's a lot of interesting people over there and tons of books and documents and scripts that you could look through for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And I hope to see you there. It'll be fun. Heading there now.